Since I can remember, I just love discovering stuff. Beige? No, absolutely not. Black is great because black is rich and you can wear lots of color with black and it's just fantastic. But beige, give me a break. It's the color of death. Stuff. Life is made out of stuff. What kind of sick individual came up with that? I was 58, I would have been 59 at the time. Not necessarily making money, but being a famous outsider artist. I am obsessed and possessed. It's my life. It's my passion. It's my obsession. He mentioned me. I was screaming in the cafe. I'm living a bucket list that I didn't even know I had.
Welcome to Ox Earth. Today we're starting a brand new series that I call Peculiar Elegance. The focus is, of course, on style, but not just as clothing. I want to explore style as a form of expression, as a language we use to tell the world who we are, specifically through color, texture, and the bold choices that turn getting dressed into an act of identity. I think it's most fitting that the very first episode of Peculiar Elegance finds me in Hackney, stepping into the colorful world of Sue Kreitzman, artist, style icon, and living manifesto against beige. At 85, she radiates a fearless individuality that spills from her wardrobe to her walls, reminding us that color is not just decoration, but declaration. We talked about personality and style, about how to inject vibrancy into everyday life, about identity, dressing up, and the courage it takes to be bold in a world that often plays it safe. It's a conversation I truly enjoyed, and I think you will love it too.
You know what? I think I should move it. I'll put it right here. This is from Tibet, and I got it at the flea market from the Rag and Bone Brothers. And this, of course, is Mexican. I was thinking of wearing it yesterday, but then I decided on Frida. Look, it's fantastic.
Absolutely.
It's absolutely fantastic.
And you put it together?
Yes. I assembled it. Look at it. And he had them in all different sizes, and I really wanted the whole collection. But, have to worry about the money, so I got this one. This doll was hanging around the house for something like 50 years. I had it in our house in Cambridge. So I painted her, and I gave her a new face. Yeah, I'm essentially an assemblage artist, although I also do paintings and I do other things as well. But even my sculptures are all about assemblage. You collect stuff, and I still have stuff from when I was a teenager. If it's really interesting, why get rid of it? So they're on my neck shrines. I call these neck shrines. They're on my sculptures, and I'm just fascinated with stuff. I wanted to be an archaeologist. I was born in 1940. So when I was in junior high school, the careers counselor said, "What do you want to be?" I said, "I want to be an archaeologist." She called my mother. The earth stopped spinning on the axis. What? You can't do that. This would have been 1955, 50, so I'm not an archaeologist. But you go around collecting stuff, you go to flea markets, you pick things up off the sidewalk. You are an archaeologist. And I use it in my work, always. Since I can remember, I just love discovering stuff, fascinating stuff. And if you have a look in my work shed, I have shelves and shelves of boxes. Hannah organizes it for me. So when I want something, if I want an eyeball, or I want some arms, or whatever I need, it's there. Sometimes you have something for 20, 30 years. Can't throw it away, and then suddenly it's exactly what you want, and there it is. So yeah, stuff. Life is made out of stuff. So I collect stuff, and I'm a fanatic about glue because I want the right glue. So I make neck shrines, I make sculptures, I glue things onto my paintings. You can see on the back wall there. So yes, stuff is important. Just in case you don't realize, I am not a minimalist.
I noticed that.
I don't understand minimalism. What the hell is that all about?
Exactly. You've said you have a deep passion for profound junk.
Yes.
Which I really like this expression, and I totally agree with you. But for people who don't understand what that means, let's elaborate.
Yes, it means things, and now people are recycling, upcycling, but always there are things that you look at it and you think, it is a kind of urban archaeology. These things are important. These things have meaning. And even if they didn't have meaning to the people who had it before, I look at it and it has meaning for me. You hold it and it has some kind of animus. It has life, especially old dolls, old masks, old faces. I'm just fascinated with it. And I want to, it's not enough to have it in a collection. I want to wear it. I want to wear it outside. I want other people to see it. I want other people to understand. So I sashay around the world and around the streets and everywhere I go. When I travel, I'm bedecked with it. And I want people to understand. Many people don't understand. I can't imagine living any other way. And you can see all around all these things I've collected. And I call them neck shrines because they're not neck pieces, they're not necklaces, they're shrines to various things. This is shrines to masks and faces. This is a shrine to the solstice. Everything has a meaning, a deep, deep meaning. And I'm not shy about telling people the stories. Some people like to hear the stories. Some people, you can see their eyes rolling up in their head, but they think, oh, she's an interesting old lady. I might as well listen. So I have to explain. I'm not really an old lady. I'm just cleverly disguised as one.
I love that. I love that about you. And also when I saw you, one of the first things you said is, I'm 85 and fabulous.
I am still quite fabulous. Touch wood.
At this age, what does style mean to you?
Well, first of all, it's my own style. I don't care about anybody else's idea. I don't care about what they say. You can wear this, but you can't wear that. What should old people do, right? The hem, the this, the that. There's a lot more freedom for people than there used to be, but still, no, I have my own style. And it's about art. And I collect art. I make art. I have the art of my friends. I have my art. I have all this stuff. When I leave the house, I can't bear to leave it behind. So I wear it. And some of my kimonos have my paintings on the back or the paintings of my friends, which we recreate in fabric. This is quite a simple one because I'm traveling today. Yesterday I had a wonderful Frida done by my friend Diane Golding on the back. It has to be color, it has to be art, it has to be fascinating in your face and in my face too. It's not that I want people, oh, look at me. It's look at color, look at art, realize that it doesn't have to be black, it doesn't have to be beige, it doesn't have to be neutral, it doesn't have to be calmed down. Decorate the world. Show people what it's all about. That's my style. And I've been dressing like that for a long time, even when I was young. So yes, I haven't changed that much over the years, but now I make my own stuff. I design the kimonos, I source the fabrics, I have a guy on the Roman road who puts them together for me at a very reasonable price. So I've always been true to myself, and now that I'm older, I used to have a little tiny waist. That went a long time ago, so I dress for comfort, but it has to be first, it has to be art, it has to be color. Those are the most important things. It's nice if it tells a story. Yeah, it usually tells a story.
I'm interested, how do you decide what to wear? What triggers what you decide to put on?
That's an interesting question. It depends on where I'm going. And today I'm traveling, so I'm wearing something fairly light. And I always get dressed in color and art, even if I'm just going to the grocery store or walking to the Roman Road Market. But it depends on my mood. And if I'm in a hurry, it's very easy because I go into my dressing room, I just grab something. I choose a kimono, I choose a neck shrine, it's easy. Sometimes I have a particular story in mind, sometimes I have a particular color in mind. It just depends on the day and where I'm going. And I have hundreds of kimonos that I've designed. I have probably a million neck shrines. A whole lot of them went to the Visionary Art Museum in America. I'm very proud of that. And some of them are in our Cambridge house, but they're all over this house. I'm very obsessed with them. And I might be in the mood to wear this, I might be in the mood to wear that. You never know. Beige? No. Absolutely not. I have a real problem with beige. Some people are afraid of spiders. Some people are afraid of heights. I am scared of beige. It reaches the life right out of you. I'm actually frightened of it. I don't understand beige. It's the color of death. Black is great because black is rich. And you can wear lots of color with black and it's just fantastic. But beige, give me a break. I don't even like the word. No, beige. And then gray is not very good either. It's not as bad as beige, but for heaven's sakes, gray is everywhere. People paint their house gray. I think that's a plot by some foreign agent to make the whole country depressed. Gray is the color of the year. Yes, no, it isn't. Don't. And then you realize there's something called grayish, which is beige and gray put together. What kind of sick individual came up with that?
What do you find in color that draws you?
Ever since I was a child, I was born with a rainbow in my head. I don't remember not having a deep connection with color. But there was a moment in kindergarten, so I must have been 5 years old, in New York City, in Manhattan. The teacher brought out a box of Crayola, the wax crayons, and it had seen better days. Other classes before us had been used, but she brought out this 64 colors in one box. And she opened it up, 64 colors. And I can still smell it. And I thought, oh my God, this is amazing. This is absolutely amazing. So even before then, I loved color, but from that moment on, I was hooked. I love red, my favorite. And the thing about red is it goes with so many other things. Red and turquoise, red and yellow, my favorite. I love yellow. Red and purple. Fuchsia is a great color because it's a really strong pink. So we had some damage in the house because we had a flood and it had to get completely repainted. And we had a wonderful, he was from Lithuania, our painter. He was terrific. He really enjoyed the job. So I said in the kitchen, I want orange, I want this, I want that, I want red, I want yellow, and I want fuchsia. And he said, fuchsia, what's that? And I said, when you were little, did your mother make you borscht? Beetroot borscht. He said, yeah. And I said, do you remember sometimes she stirred in the sour cream? Do you remember that color? That's fuchsia. So one of my cabinets in the kitchen is painted the color of borscht with sour cream. So yes, these colors, and in food it's important to me, in life, in decor, in dressing, and in my brain, because I dream in color. And sometimes I dream that I've discovered new colors that have never been seen before. And then I wake up and I try desperately to grab hold of that, but it fades. So that's for another dream, maybe. And there's color everywhere. I would go out on a color safari and just, the city, there's so much color in the city. I love London. London is full of weirdos, and I am just another weirdo. I want to be a walking collage, right in people's face. This is art, this is color, this is happiness. Because it's a very dark world right now, and everything is so scary. So I just want to be that little pop of happy color.
What advice, I'm wondering, would you give to someone who is feeling pressured to tone it down?
Don't do it. Be bold. Don't be afraid. And this is what I say when people ask me about getting old, too. It's an adventure, and it's a privilege to get old. To be 85 years old and still be the way I am. I'm very lucky. So as far as color and dressing in a vibrant way, don't be afraid. Start small. Wear a bright scarf. I did a thing at one of the London College of Fashion, and I took some of the fashionistas who were wearing black all the time, and I zhuzhed them up with bangles and scarves and this, and they had a very good time. I don't know if it made any difference to their life because they get scared. And people say to me, well, you can do it, but I could never do it. Honey, I'm an 85-year-old overweight lady from the Bronx. That's where I began. If I can do it, you can do it. Don't tell me that. Of course you can do it. But people are just scared.
And I think they underestimate the power of dressing bold. They underestimate how it makes you feel. Maybe some people are just too introvert for it. They don't like the attention or something, but it feels empowering when you're dressed up.
And I try to tell people that, but it doesn't sink in. And they're afraid of being judged, you know. Well, who is she? What is she doing? Why is she doing that? But the thing is, at this point, my life in London, all my friends are colorful.
London is definitely very, very kind to eccentrics and just people with personal style, with identity.
For me, the East End of London is paradise. It's very diverse, and whatever you are, okay, it's very diverse, but there are a lot of people, I won't say like me because we all dress differently, but people who have that kind of mindset, I really, really like it. Yeah.
How do you respond to people who say that your style is too much?
Okay, I have a saying. You know how they say less is more? Less is less. More is not nearly enough. So don't tell me about that. The more the merrier. Just pile it on. And if you don't like it, don't look. You know, I don't care. You don't have to like everything. Yeah, no, that's just silly. Less is that's the silliest thing I've ever heard.
You've lived many lives. You've been a teacher, you've been a cookbook author, TV chef as well. And then at 58, you suddenly burst into art.
Yeah.
Take me to that moment. What goes inside? How did that happen?
Okay, first of all, you know, I started as an oboe player. I was pretty good. And I got a university, you know, like people get into university because of playing basketball or football. I had a complete scholarship to university because I went to a university that had the most amazing music department and a symphony orchestra and so on. So first I was an oboe player, and then all these other things you mentioned. But I was always considered to be very, very bad at art. And in high school, junior high school and high school, every year I flunked art. I could not do what they wanted us to do. I didn't understand what they wanted us to do, and I just knew I would never be an artist. Never. Although I loved art. But at 58, I was working on my, that's a lot of cookbooks, 27 cookbooks.
27 is a lot.
Yeah, and it's a hard work, and I loved it. I loved being in the food business, but very hard work. And I was working on the proofs. I was sitting upstairs at my desk, the proofs of the 27th cookbook, which turned out to be my last, I didn't know. And I was surrounded by scrap paper and highlighters, because, you know, you're marking the proofs and everything. And the most mysterious thing happened to me. My hand picked up a marker. This is a true story, and I'm still amazed when I tell the story. My hand picked up a marker and drew a mermaid on, and I've always been obsessed with mermaids, on a piece of paper. And I had all these colored markers, and I colored her in, and then I gave her a fish for a hat, and then she had snakes, and I don't even know, it was like somebody else's hand. And from that moment on, I was no longer a writer about food. I was an artist, and I was obsessed with drawing. I was drawing. I could not stop, and I would draw all night. I left a really good career. So the muse bit me in the bum. I had a psychotic break. Probably it was the menopause. I don't know what it was. And my agent thought I had completely lost my mind. And my family were very supportive, but they couldn't figure, what is this? What happened? My husband said, oh, it's wonderful. It's just like Picasso. I said, well, honey, not really, but thank you very much. And I just was so obsessed. And I started using nail varnish. I painted with a little tiny brush, a little tiny bottle, and a lot of my early work was with nail varnish. And it just continued. It continued. Then eventually acrylics. I started making these sculptures with found objects and things that I had in my collection. It was a gift from the universe. Wasn't making any money anymore, but it's just one of the best things that has ever happened to me. And how many years later is it now? I was 58, now I'm 85. I'm still obsessed. I'm still creating every day. I'm drawing, I'm painting, I'm making these things, sculptures, and right now, neck shrines all the time. And I don't really sell my work because I don't want it to be about commerce. It's about the work itself. Some of it is in museums, and some of it I have gifted or traded with other artists. It's my life. It's my passion. It's my obsession. I am obsessed and possessed. And I don't know what made that moment happen. But it happened. I was closeted for a while. I didn't let anybody know except my family and some very close friends. And I actually knew some outsider artists in the Georgia mountains and have some of their work. So I think, well, I suppose I fit in that category. And somebody, Piers Midwinter, had an ad out somewhere. He was looking for artists for the Raw Art Festival in Camden. And I thought, well, I'll try for that. What's the worst that'll happen? They'll laugh at me. I can take it. They'll laugh at me. So I did send some images online. And within a day, I heard from him. He said, "Gee, Sue, you make wonderful art. Give me 150 pounds and you're in the show." And I thought, uh-oh, this is a scam. What? And I thought about it, and I looked him up, and he had done a Raw Art Festival before. I thought, talked about it with my husband. He says, well, try. The worst that'll happen is you'll lose the money, but you'll see. So yes, I was in it. I was registered to be in it. And then he said, "Gee, Sue, I see that you're in the food business. Would you like to cook lunch for all the artists on Installation Day?" So I said, okay. So I got my money back. I made a very, very, very colorful spread. And that was the night of the opening, that I knew I was somebody in the art business, because the editor of Raw Vision was there. And another woman who also had an art magazine, she said, "Oh, I love your art. I want to put you in my magazine." Everybody made such a big fuss of me. I just couldn't believe it. And after it was all over, and I was sitting with my son in a local cafe, and I had my Raw Vision with me, and I said to Sean, my son, maybe he wrote about the show, in the magazine. And yes, John Mazel's, the editor, had written about it. And he said, the show was interesting. It wasn't, I can't remember how he put it. He said it was very uneven, but 3 artists were really special. And he mentioned me and Liz Parkinson, who's amazing, from Australia, and someone else, I forgot who. He mentioned me. I was screaming in the cafe, and I knew I was on my way, not necessarily making money, but being a famous outsider artist. And I've exhibited all over the world. I've curated many, many, many outsider art exhibitions. I support many, many, many artists. And it is the most exciting life. I could never, they say, what is your bucket list? I don't want to jump out of an airplane. I've done a lot of traveling. I don't need to do any more traveling except for art. I'm living a bucket list that I didn't even know I had. And I just want to keep doing it until I drop dead. I'll drop dead with a paintbrush in my hands.
Do you think that society puts pressure on older women about how they should dress?
Oh, they certainly do. Yes, but it's all bullshit. We don't care. I always say, dress for your body shape, dress for the weather. Otherwise, do whatever you damn please. Really, don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me how to do it. And I think that's slowly changing. The only thing is, don't wear beige. Otherwise, do what you want.
It might kill you.
Yeah.
Tell me what inspires you now at this stage in your life. You mentioned mermaids.
Well, mermaids, ever since I was a kid, it's just such an interesting legend. Anywhere there's a body of water, there is a mermaid legend. And to me, mermaids represent freedom, but I'm inspired walking down the street. I'm inspired by pops of color. I'm inspired by the street art, which is so wonderful in the East End of London. I'm inspired by my friends and how they look. Listen, honey, I am in a permanent state of art arousal. And I've got a lot going on inside my head. So I always have ideas of what I want to do and how I want to do it. So, inspiration is just, always there. Lightning bolts always coming out of my head, always. But I live in a rainbow-colored bubble, and all my friends, I have a tribe in there with me, and it's very good for my mental health. And my husband likes it, my son likes it, all my friends like it. And so many of my younger friends come here, and they say, we come here, we feel safe here, we feel protected here. That's partly because I do mentor and cherish young artists, and I take care of them. But it's also because this is a haven. This is a paradise. This is outside of the regular planet. This is the Sue planet. You come in here, you're safe. It's very special. It's very special. It's the Sue planet.
And on the Sue planet, if you can leave one commandment of style to future generations, what would that be?
Okay, my commandment of style is, first of all, be yourself. But make yourself more colorful if you're in a rut of neutrals. Don't stay in a rut of neutrals. Zhuzh it up, add some color, and learn to live with it and love it and share it with everybody else. That's it.
What do you say to those who think that bold fashion is only for the young?
The idea that bold fashion is only for the young? Why? I mean, I don't even understand that question. Of course not. Bold fashion is for bold people. And old people are bold. Old is bold. Old can be much bolder than you, young person. You don't even know. You don't even know what it's like for somebody like me. You think you're bold, honey. You don't know bold until you've lived in my shoes. So, no, that's ridiculous. Come on. Dress for your own psyche, and I'm hoping your psyche is some kind of rainbow. Not just a rainbow, some kind of crazy rainbow. Do your thing and make your thing exciting. And I was in a film called Fabulous Fashionistas, and that was about 4 older women who were very bold indeed. I was the boldest, of course. I like being the boldest. Old is bold. Old can be
I like that.
bold.
We make this into a slogan. Old is bold. I guess this will be a very good ending of today's conversation. So thank you very much.
Thank you for thinking of me. This is very nice. I've enjoyed this. You ask good questions and you have good energy. So thank you very much.
And thank you for your hospitality.
Yes, of course, of course.
So here it is, and quite frankly, I couldn't have come up with a better closing of this first episode than a brand new slogan. Old is bold. Sue was the perfect guest for this new series. She's an absolute joy to be around, and her story is about reinvention, color as rebellion, and powerful in her refusal to fade into the background. Be brave, don't play it safe.